Hey everybody, Ben here from the Bonehead podcast, and welcome to Blood Bowl Formations Black Orc Setups. We are looking at every team available in Blood Bowl 2020, whether it's the rulebook, the Teams of Legend PDF, or the expanded NAF teams, and we're putting together some example setup formations for when you are kicking or when you are receiving with this team. The whole idea here is to have a look at some examples to kind of talk through where you want to put your positionals and why. So if you are going to be playing with what I think is the most fun of the new teams, or if you're going to be playing against them, this video should give you a bit of a breakdown as to some cunning plans and some cunning ways to beat them. So the Black Orc team is one of the strongest teams in the game. It is let down by the Goblins, who are strength 2. However, they've got a thick skull, so they actually tend to stick around way more than regular Goblins, which is awesome. Now, the beautiful thing here about the Black Orc team is you get up to 6 strength 4 brawler grab bad boys and a troll. So that is a ton of strength. That is 29 points of strength in 7 dudes, okay? They are hench. Now, there's kind of two things to consider when it comes to Black Orcs, especially when it's defensive time. Brawler is a fantastic skill, but it only works on a block action. It does not work on a blitz action. So if you want to make the most of those Black Orcs, they have to be in base contact. Now, don't get me wrong, blitzing with any strength 4 player is going to be wonderful, but Brawler and Grab come into play best when you are already basing somebody. So we're going to have a look through some example defenses, but realistically what you want to do is position your team to get as many people in base contact with a Black Orc as possible, because that is going to help turn those 2 dice into 3 die blocks using Brawler. Grab to chain block one dude, pass him sideways, pass him backwards, wherever you want to go, and if they land on the ground it just helps you foul people out. So Black Orcs, 1, Brawler, you want to be in combat. 2 is that the Black Orcs are pretty slow. Movement 4 is tough, and your reserve is the Goblins. Now the Goblins are fantastic at getting exactly where they want to be, getting those assists, just getting those fouls in, but they are not strength 3 dudes. You cannot just use them to fill a hole, because they will get 2-died by basically every player in the game. So first of all, we're going to have a look at the Chevron defense. Now, Black Orcs are a very strong team, so this defense is fantastic against faster teams, okay, mid to fast. In fact, because you're so heavy, yeah, mid to fast, I like that. Okay. So the Chevron defense is one we've seen before on this series many times, but you have some cool pieces here. So normally with the Chevron defense, you chuck your dudes on the line and you expect them to die. That is not necessarily going to be the case here with the Black Orc team. They are going to be able to 2-die one of your Black Orcs. So if they put an assist here, and they've got a strength 3 guy here, they are going to need to drop somebody into support there to get a 2-die, and they'll have to do the same here as well. What that is doing is using 6 players against 2 of yours. That's fantastic. The worst case scenario for you here is that they swipe out both these guys and leave nobody in base contact with the troll. Now to do that, they are going to have to block diagonally, which isn't going to happen. So you will have somebody in base contact with your troll so that you can have a cheeky little counter punch. Now, the Chevron defense is there just to stall the opponents. So if you look at the way we've deployed, we've got 4 Goblins up front and 4 Black Orcs in reserve. And what that does is that creates this beautiful tessellation of tackle zones, which means that there is nowhere to go without actually forcing a blitz except down the middle. And to get down that middle, you've got to clear out 2 Black Orcs and a troll, and there are very few teams that want to run down the middle of the pitch that are going to be up for that challenge. The cool thing here is that this Black Orc is that neither of them are getting based. So there will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 basically squares with a cheeky go for it. So if your opponent does manage to swipe out your main line and then go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, even that gutter runner is not going to be able to escape from one of these boys playing linebacker. Now, what you normally see with the Chevron defense is a cheeky sneak down the sideline. That's going to be really tough against a team that is fast. Teams that are fast tend not to have strength 4 or strength 5 blitzers, okay? So they are going to have to stack strength 3 players here. So these guys are strength 4. That makes the maths really hard if they want to go for a breakthrough. They can put an assist there, they can run down here and tag that Goblin, but if they blitz in here, it's going to be +1, 1 dice. And 1 dice is going to be pretty risky. Now, they can drop a dude, and if that is the case, then they can run through here. But like I said before, if they have to do that, not only are they going to have to use a lot of movement, but then they do have a Black Orc and a Black Orc on the ground ready to pounce on them. And Strength 4 is fantastic. Alright, we've got Brawler, we've got Grab. That doesn't work if you're not in base contact at the beginning of your action. But you know what? 2 dice is 2 dice. And as your team develops, you're going to get 1 or 2 with Block, couple with Guard, couple with Mighty Blow. You're going to have an absolutely awesome time. I guess we haven't even covered the fact that Goblins 3++ to dodge away. So if they do break through, you've got Goblins here that are able to swarm down and assist. You can flip your defense and have the Black Orcs up front. It's going to make this cheeky break down the side a lot easier. What you're doing here is essentially offering up some Goblins as a shield. So these Goblins here are blocking this Black Orc and this Black Orc from being based at all. So your opponent's going to have to stack 5-6 players to get any profitable blocks off the line, and they're going to have to take a cheeky 1 die blitz on the edge here, and then leaves you in a pretty good place to counter attack, and that's where you want to be. So the Chevron doesn't get a lot of Black Orcs into base contact, because when you're playing against the fast team, they are going to want to disengage. They're going to want to not stack dudes up against you, because that's just too easy for them. That's just too hard and too dangerous if it doesn't work out. So what you have to do is put your strength in reserve so that you can bring it to bear when you're ready. But the really cool thing about the Black Orc team is you've got 7 strength 4 or 5 players. Now, we've seen some other strong teams. We've seen Lizards, we've seen Nurgle, and there are some different defensive schemes you can run with a team this strong. Now, this will also pay off against a fast team and a kind of middling team as well. So the strong wide zone setup kind of flips some stuff around. Basically, you spread out your offense, your defensive line, sorry. You've got Black Orc here, and a Troll here. The whole idea then is that you have got these overlapping tackle zones on the line of scrimmage here, which means there's nowhere for your opponent to put a dude where you're not going to get at least 2 blocks. They put someone there and someone there and someone there. You're going to get 1 Black Orc block there, 1 Black Orc block there, and this Troll is going to be free to do whatever he wants. And that's the beauty of the strong wide zones, is that you deploy 3 wide and you put a Goblin here to support that Troll. You're going to pull off the really stupid, and it does mean that if they fumble their ball, if they slow down, if they don't advance, you've got an opportunity to paratroop without having to clear out any tackle zones off your catapult, which is really good for you. But the key here is stacking these Black Orcs on both of those wide zones in a diagonal fashion. So they can still do the thing that we talked about before, which is tag him, and blitz through him. But you know what, that's going to be challenging as you'd like. And then we kind of got a more fluid central reserve here with these Goblins. Now, these Goblins have movement 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so you can 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can cover the entire midfield with 4 Goblins. But if they stop here, you're going to have 1, 2 Black Orcs with some Goblins. You don't even need the Black Orcs at this point. If they've gone through with strength 3 players, you can mob them with Goblins. All you have to do is bring those Black Orcs in to counter some tackle zones. Put 1 Goblin there as an assist. Another one comes through, you've got a cheeky 1 die block. Or you can just swarm any side cage. But to get that side cage, they're going to have to blitz through here. Now, there is another thing that they can do, which is to swoop aside Black Orc here and create this running lane here. Now, they can then take out a Goblin and filter down in the middle. But if they do that, they've got a couple of really bad choices. One is they leave these guys open and you've got 2 strength 4 blitzers coming in from the side. I wouldn't fancy that. Or they can tag these Black Orcs and then they're going to get Brawler and grabbed on your turn. So you've got basically 2 choices. You can have your Black Orcs in reserve like we saw in the Chevron defense, or you can go strong wide zones and kind of force your opponent down the middle. It's a really interesting one. It depends what team you're going to be playing against, but whatever happens, you are going to have a reserve of strength 4 players. You're going to need to use the speed of the Goblins to really counterattack. And whatever they do, they're going to leave you a couple of free 2 die blocks with Brawler and Grab. So if they do support here, you can just grab down, and then get a cheeky crowd surf, which I love the idea of. So strong wide zones, going to be really effective again against a middle to fast team. But if you want to really just force the matter of having your Black Orcs in as many tackle zones as possible at the start, the close strength defense really just deploys up front. Okay, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Black Orcs and a Troll. Now they are spaced, and the reason they're spaced is because what that will do is that will limit your opponent to 2 squares on each wide zone. Otherwise, every one of these squares is going to be basing at least 1 Black Orc. So your opponent has to deploy 3 dudes down here. Now the best thing for him is going to go 1, 2, 3 probably. 3 probably. 1, 2, 3 dudes there. That's going to be Black Orc block, Black Orc block, Black Orc block if they don't overcommit. And because you've got these intervening tackle zones, they don't get any free assists. So against a strength 3 opponent, they have got no chance here basically to get any good blocks. The best thing they can do is deploy a guy there, and a support, and take a 3, 4, 5 blitz there. They're going to have to deploy so many players to try and swing one side that they're not going to have anything left to do anything else across the line. So this close strength basically just deploys right in your opponent's face. You deny them the entire line of scrimmage, with the exception of those 2 wide zones. Now, the reason you need those wide zones is because you need this to be a blitz. And this is the vulnerability here, is that there is actually 1, 2, support, blitz in there. There is a way to get a good 2-die block and open up the wide zone. Then you've got this Goblin anti-cage tactic, and you've got a Troll in the open who they're not going to deploy against. You could even move the Troll back, move these guys in, but close strength is going to be there for when it is time to just crush your opponent. If you're willing to risk a risky bounce back play from then, you can go for it. The other tweak you could do is drop these Black Orcs in 1 square, bring a Goblin out to here, and it kind of just forces the, or maybe even stack it underneath to really force those things. And then you've got some tackle zones here. Yeah, that might be good as well. That's going to stop the blitz on the edge, but then you've got more squares who are open here, which means you've got more supports. Close strength, get in their grill. If they deploy and they don't try and escape, or if they over deploy, you are going to be in a better position. Plus your Black Orcs are going to be closer onto their side of the pitch, so if anything goes wrong, you are going to be able to wander over and start murdering. But we've got to have a quick look at the anchor defense. So if you are playing a team that is stronger than you, if that team exists, Lizardman, maybe a better Lizardman team than you, maybe Chaos Pact, the anchor will kind of help protect. Now it works very similarly to the Chevron, and it works very similarly to the strong wide zones. You just clump your players up closer. Now what that does do is you've got that little core there of a Black Orc, a Troll, a Black Orc and a Goblin in the middle. They're going to have very tough blocks there. Now if you are playing against a team that is tougher than you, they are going to be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, block away, and then potentially even get a good block on the Troll. But it's going to force them to roll dice, and they are going to have to commit more players to that line of scrimmage. Then they've got an option. They can either just wander up or try and blitz a Black Orc off the corner. This is risky. If you are playing against a team that is as brawly as you are, deploying like this is inviting violence. That's kind of what you want to do though, and when your players are clumped up like this, you can use grab to your maximum potential. So if they don't take out one of your Black Orcs, this dude can potentially just grab along and go down the line. If anybody attacks one of your side pieces here, you've got 2 dudes there, they can grab in, and when you've got this many supports, all of those blocks start becoming really, really gnarly. Now on top of that, 1, 2, 3, 4, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 2 Black Orcs on each side that can cover essentially the entire pitch, and you've got Goblins in there to swoop in, grab the ball if a breakthrough happens, or just apply more pressure and more assists. So the anchor is going to give you basically the better option to strike back, but it is focused and your opponent could try and envelop you. But if they're stronger than you, they're probably not going to be much faster than you, except for lizards. Man, lizards are OP. So when a strong team comes up against another strong team, when a team wants to win the line of scrimmage, they have to over deploy, they have to over commit. So the strong anchor defense basically just brings your team up a little bit, adds more of your strength to that front line, which is going to force your opponent to put even more strength on that front line. So you've got 5 dudes here, 2 Black Orcs, a Troll, 2 Black Orcs here. To get good blocks, they are going to need to deploy 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, at least 6 players, and leave your Troll open. this is inviting a big 7-man lineup, okay? And they're going to take a couple of 2-die blocks against your guys. Now, you are strength 4 and you are armor 10, so you can survive a few good punches. The downside here is it's risky. The upside is that they are going to be left with probably only about 4 players in the backfield. So you do actually have the potential to weather a big combat on the front line. If you come off evens or better, then you actually get an opportunity to bring your numbers and come for a very beautiful counterpunch while limiting the amount of players in their backfield. What that will do is that will basically allow you to play 11 versus 7, and having been a Skaven coach, I've played 7 against 11 a couple of times, and it gets really brutal. The strong anchor and the anchor, it all just... This is basically... I am willing to pit my team against yours and just punch each other until somebody dies. When it comes to Black Orcs, you have a really good punch, okay? So if you want to over deploy like this, tempt them to deploy wider, and if you're willing to take a big punch at the beginning, assuming you're not knocked down, you're going to punch back harder. So let's go on the offense now with Black Orcs. Now, Black Orcs are a really cool team. They are much slower than they feel, but that grab brawler element really means that they are essentially the masters of the cage. Okay, grab just means you can pop your dudes somewhere, you can chain block them out, you can progress that Death Star. And you've got 7 strength 4 or 5 players. And goblins are fantastic for that last breakout. Now, they're movement 6, sure, but with a couple of go-for-its, if you're willing to risk those dice, that's movement 8 with 3++ dodges, okay? All you need to do is get 5 squares, get your ball carrier 5 squares onto the other side of the pitch, and you are a 3+, 2+2+ touchdown away, essentially. Maybe a few more rolls than that if your opponent's doing a good job, but... they're going to have to deploy their guys against your cage, and when that happens, you have the benefit of Strength 4 and Brawler and Grab. So you can farm those blocks, put your opponent exactly where you want them, and as your team develops, you start getting a bit of Mighty Blow, a bit of Block, a bit of Guard. Your team really starts crumping through them, and this is actually really good for enveloping elves as well. You have the classic knock an elf back, follow up, elf's going to dodge away. Nah, if you've got Grab, you take that elf and you put it in between 2 of your players. That is a bunch of tackle zones that even elves are going to be quite dubious about taking, and what that means is that you get to have a couple more 2-die blocks on your next turn. It is great fun and leads to elf death. So the 7-4 offense here plays to your strengths. We've got good movement 6 dudes in the backfield. Basically, we've got 2 sections here. We've got 7 combat troops right there. 7 very good combat troops. Now, your opponent playing against Black Orc, probably not going to massively deploy a huge army. Probably going to deploy 3 dudes as sacrificial lambs and maybe space them out. So what you get to do is you just get to pick your best blocks. And because of the spacing of the goblins here with 2 in each wide zone, basically there is a very big window where the ball is likely to go, and because you've got all these goblins, if the ball does go here, you can easily move a guy to screen, and you will have Black Orcs there able to jump in the way as well, so you should be able to secure that ball in no time with relative ease, even without trying to pick it up, and that should leave you with about 5 players on the line of scrimmage, and those 5 players are going to win most lines of scrimmage. And the great thing here, and I cannot stress this enough, Brawler and Grab in a line on the line of slaughter puts Slaughter in the line of slaughter. Okay, it's beyond all else. Okay, because it is 2-die block, grab, push, never mind, push him there, 2-die block, grab, skull, both down, reroll the both down. It's a push him there. You just farm the dudes along, and if you look at this line, you're going to end up with on average 7 or 8 block dice against a single guy if he doesn't go down. And that is just SPP waiting to happen. You can delete these guys with this amount of strength on that line. Then you're playing 11 against 8. And alright, maybe there's some Wood Elf teams, there's some Skaven teams that are going to be able to bounce through and try and make a play for the ball. But make sure you secure it with 1 or 2 Black Orcs and a Goblin. -3 tackle zones. Wipe out the line. Move a Goblin in. Try and pick it up. Good to go. Then next turn, start building that cage and just grab Brawler your way into the end zone via the opponent's corpses. Alternatively, you can go for the 5-5-1. Now, the benefit of the 7-4 is you get that massive line of scrimmage where you can just farm out the blocks. The 5-5-1 actually plays a little bit more of an open formation, but what it does do is provides complete protection for the backfield from a blitz without actually having to punch through stuff. Now, if you want to secure that zone, you're going to have to put Black Orcs on the edge. In this example, basically what we do is we leave one Goblin in the backfield. We buddy up another Goblin with a Troll, and when we stack 2 Black Orcs either side. We've got 2 Black Orcs wide and 2 Goblins even wider. And what you can do is if the ball lands here, you can move a Goblin, a Black Orc down to secure it, bring up the Goblin to pick up the ball last things. Okay, you can react to that. But you've still got that great amount of blocks here, down the line. You've got a Troll that you can block with, or if you want to, you've got that Troll-Goblin combo. So this isn't the best offense for a throw teammate, but what it can do is it can create a situation where you end up with a surprise throw teammate, and that is something your opponent is going to really struggle with. If it's turn 3 of the game, okay, and your opponent is not deployed in a throw teammate offense, they've just gone for a cheeky close Chevron, something like that, because they don't know what the heck to do with your team, there's no reason you can't just Black Orc this guy away, Black Orc this guy away, Black Orc this guy away, and then murder him with this guy. Keep that Troll open, ball ends up anywhere here, Goblin to Goblin, Troll to touchdown. Okay, this keeps your opponent honest, because they are going to have to commit. Well, they're not going to have to commit, they're just going to have to choose, right? Am I expecting a throw teammate? No, I'm not expecting throw teammate. You set up in the 5-5-1, you're not committing to that throw teammate. You're committing to having a good team either side to secure the ball, a very good team on the line of scrimmage to murder, and this cheeky little option. So I like the 5-5-1. It creates this shield to protect you against a bad situation or a blitz. It gives you the option to quickly go to a throw teammate once you've cleared out this line, and it gives you the standard option of just collection, mauling, and creating a nice safe box here for Goblins surrounded by 7 massive dudes. But you don't run Goblins to not throw them around. So throw Goblin touchdown, what we've got here is we've maximized the zonage. So if you are going to go for a touchdown, if you're going to go for a throw Goblin touchdown and you need to do it, if you've got benched Goblins, you want to bring in up to 2 of them to replace these Black Orcs on the edge. We're going to assume that those Goblins have died, it's now turn 8 and you really need to go for that touchdown. So what you do is you go 1-2 squares behind the sweet spot, deploy your Goblins wide like this. Put the 4 Black Orcs on the line with the Troll in the middle and the Goblin behind. Now, you've got 2 choices whether or not you deploy your Troll on the line. If you deploy him on the line, you get 1 square closer to a touchdown. You deploy him off the line, you don't have to clear out blocks first. So if they deploy 3 dudes in the middle, they're probably going to deploy a little bit wider when it comes to the throw teammate element here to limit your opportunity to throw teammate with less tackle zones. But in this situation, grab helps you out because you can just smack him away, smack him away, smack him away twice, and then your Troll is in the open. And what we've done here is we've created the biggest window possible for collecting the ball. Now, this is what I mean about having Goblins. If you do have a couple of Goblins to replace these Black Orcs, that's going to be much, much, much better for you. Your opponent's got no chance and no choice here. So if the ball lands here, I'm not sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 7, 8. That's bad for you. So you basically have a receiving point of this, I think, because of the way it goes. You should be able to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's going to take a couple of go for it, but basically you've got this covered. If the ball lands anywhere in there, all you need to do is 3+, 2+, 2+, 3+ for the catch, 2+ for the really stupid, 2+ for the always hungry, probably a 5+ for the throw, and probably a 5+ for the land, and then potentially a cheeky 3++ dodge, and go for it or 2. It's that easy. Experimenting with Black Orcs has been awesome in this edition. We haven't had a new team to explore in such a long time, and when this team landed we were all like, oh yeah, it's just kind of worse Lizardmen. It isn't. This is the close knife fighting team. This is a brawler of a team, and it makes sense that they all have brawler, but they want to play close. Now, dwarves love a scrum, okay? They've got tackle, they've got block, they end up with some guard. These guys also love a scrum. That grab and that brawler means you can just pass a dude on to the next one and maximize those brawler blocks, because like 1 in 3 of those becomes a 3-die block instead of 2 dice. It does create extra opportunities for powering dudes down, and grab means that you can control them whether it's offensive or defensive, and because everybody is flipping strength 4 and strength 5, it means that if there is a fast team coming up against you, if you spread out like strong wide zones or the spread defense, they don't have a lot of good choices if they want to go for a quick breakthrough. And they're going to want to go for a quick breakthrough because the slower they go, the more chance you're going to be able to grind out brawler and grab to maximize your blocks. You are going to get a ton of free blocks and it's going to turn into 7 flipping dice every single time. It is awesome. Now, the downside is the speed for this team. Okay, goblins are fine, but the black orcs are not. So you need to keep it close and you need to use grab to keep that network of orcs. If you can control that network, you control the pitch and you control the game. As soon as they escape that network, you are very limited and it turns into goblin suicide mode. But that's actually just a lot of fun. Anyway, do let me know what you guys think of black orcs in this edition. These setups look a bit more complicated, but it's really about maximizing where your black orcs are and kind of creating those grab networks. It is awesome. I cannot wait to see more and more black orc teams just play out on the pitch, because man, it's been great fun brawling around. Anyway guys, I'm going to wrap up. Thank you very much for watching. We'll be back soon with more Blood Bowl content. Happy brawling. Thanks very much for watching. We really appreciate your support. If you want to support the show even further, please like and subscribe. It really helps us out. Or come and join us in our Patreon, link below, where you get early access to our content and monthly competitions. See you later.